Thank you so much, Natalie. This morning we're chatting with the president of All Tobago Fisherfolk Association, Mr. Curtis Douglas. Good morning, Curtis.
Good morning to you, Ruckus and the team. Good morning, Natalie. Good morning, Kamaya.
Good morning,
Good
Mr.
morning to you.
Douglas.
All right.
Good morning to you, my dear.
So, Mr. Douglas, the BHP conducting a geotechnical survey in Tobago. Tell me, what is the issue that the All Tobago Fisherfolk Association is having with this survey happening?
We have been a host of problem where we didn't really anticipate it for. The first major issue we have in right now, present as we speak. 2 weeks ago, BHP, or a contractor from BHP that is conducting the survey, had destroyed our fishing equipment, the property of Fisherfolk, and up to this date, up to now as we speak, we had not been compensated, nor for the damage to our property, nor for our downtime. And that is one of the major problems that we are having. We were thinking that we would have been able to coexist together, but unfortunately, that seems to be far from what we expected.
All right. So, Mr. Douglas, tell me something, just so I understand clearly, because I'm not a fisherman, never have I ever been. So tell me what's some of the equipment that you guys would have been using that you weren't manning? Because to me, fishermen, you go and you actually fish. But I understand that there are some devices that you guys leave in the ocean. Tell me about that kind of stuff. How does that work?
All right. We in Tobago, we use different type of fishing methods, and two of the methods we use regularly is what we call fish pot. Some people call it fish traps. These are traditional fishing that we learned from our parents, right? And it came down in a generation. A fish pot is like a big cage we put into the water, fabricate it and put it with rope and stuff like that, with something to identify it, and we put it down in the fish water. So when the fish swims in there, because we have bait to rank it to attract the fish, so the fish go in the cage and we go the next day, and pull the fish pot. That is one. The other one is what we call FAD. Now, FAD is not traditional, but a new method in which fishermen had learned from the Japanese that had came and did a course with the Fisherfolks. So we did a course about the FAD. A FAD is like we cement like 3-4 tires with ropes, with bamboos and different things to attract the fish. So we have 3 different layers coming up. So within probably a couple hours, you're gonna find like all the flying fish, all the dolphin and stuff like that come around it. So all we have to do there now is to just go and catch the fish. So basically, I hope you have a better idea and understanding what are some of the devices that would damage, because those are the 2 main devices that was destroyed by BHP.
All right. So you're saying that they were destroyed, as in they no longer exist, or is it that there's a possibility that they was severed from whatever identifier so that it sank or it was moved with the tide? Is that a possibility at all, or is it that they were definitely destroyed?
Well, it can't really sink. To be quite, it was destroyed. It was destroyed, and the only problem we face is what we call ghost fishing. Now, ghost fishing is where the traps that was destroyed, so the traps will just be there catching fish, and fish will just keep going into the fish pot and feeding up on other fish, and just ghost fishing. So it was totally destroyed, which we find it is very lawless, because needless to say, if the Fisherfolk had damaged something or any equipment by BHP, all now would have been under inquiry, probably charged or under arrest. So I find Michael Stone, which is the manager, the country manager for BHP, I don't think he's aware, because there's no other reason or solution I can come up with. I don't think he's aware of what is really taking place.
Mr. Douglas,
go ahead.
Sorry, but talk to us a bit about the process of surveying. What is it about the process, or explain to us how BHP doing a survey can cause this kind of damage to your equipment?
No, all right. The kind of survey that BHP is doing, it's called a geotechnical physical survey. Now, that survey now, basically for the laymen who do not understand the method in which they're using, this is a method that they're using something like a big backhoe that is bigger than a backhoe, and it goes down to the surface of the floor bed up to about 18 meters or more and take up all the sediments from there and put it on a ship. So in essence, they are creating a big crate beneath the seabed, damaging the fauna, damaging the coral, damaging all the natural resources and marine life down beneath there, and chasing the marine life by getting a sample. Now they have something called a piston core. A piston core is like a big gigantic pipe that is going to the floor about 100 meters. The samples. Now the problem with that itself is that if it go and it reaches rock, it has to come up again and go down. So you can imagine the effect it would have. And when asked or do some investigation, what are some of the things that can happen? They quite clearly said, you can either have a tsunami or a series of earthquakes. And BHP is coming as close as 7 miles from sand. That is in between Tobago, protective zone, as to say, because Tobago is surrounded by reef, roughly 22 odd reefs. So even that, the marine space has been destroyed, will be destroyed. And what we are asking as all Tobago fisherfolk is basically, look, we need to sit down and work together. But in working together, it seems to be something far-fetched. What we are saying, basically, Natalie and Ruckus and the team, is that, look, you will be here for about 45 days or so. Look, for the 45 days, just have the fisher folks do not go to sea for the 45 days and let us work out, I wouldn't say a compensation, but a package, so that we wouldn't be in your way and you will not be in our way. And even in that breath, we, the fisher folks, will now have to say 500 meters away from their vessel. Now, this is probably a 100-foot vessel, and you cannot stay within 500 meters. You can't come close within 500 meters because they have what you call a chase boat. So bigger boats than us will just run us away so that we can ply our trade. And if we have any fish pot or any instrument there, it will be damaged.
So, Mr. Douglas, right? Wasn't the Fisherfolk Association given notice of the fact that BPH was going to be doing these surveys? BHP, sorry, going to be doing these surveys?
Yes, we met. We requested to have dialogue with BHP to learn more and to understand the nature of the survey and to work with them. Hoping that they will be able to work with us, which is the All Tobago Fisherfolk, so we could have a collaborative effort in achieving the goal, in existing together. But that seems to be far from what is taking place now. On the 20th of January 2001, there was a meeting with the Fisheries Department, Tobago, and the questions and answers. So the question was posed by the Director of Fisheries to BHP team. Would fishermen be able to ply their trade? And the response from BHP, they said yes, and our trade, and that will be honored. But quite clearly, the entire world is saying it is very hard for us to ply our trade when they are destroying our fishing equipments and bringing hardship upon the families, the poor fisher folks' families in Tobago.
Mr.
Because
Douglas,
quite naturally, yes, sir.
Question, in terms of where their ship is located, is it that is a prime fishing spot, or is it that, I mean, there's an island, right? So we have water and we have sea all around. So I'm curious as to the importance of where they are versus where the fishermen usually would ply their trade.
Yes, and that is the problem. As you can see, the fishing equipment or gears were damaged.
Mm-hmm.
and that is just part. We have key fishing traditional, we call traditional fishing ground. Traditional fishing ground is where, you know, our foreparents go and stuff like that. So we use landmark. So we would go out to sea by saying, you know, we're going to float Tobago by this, by that, you know, different landmark, and bring up chapel and whatever. So yes, it is our key fishing ground. And we are saying,
Mr.
look,
Douglas, you kind of have me confused, you know, because I'm trying to figure, if you all knew BHP was coming to do these surveys, and I am hoping that the nature of the surveys were explained to you all, how did you all end up with these things being damaged? Why weren't they moved? If we understood the radius within which those surveys were going to be conducted.
All right, Natalie, I'm glad you asked that question, because I want the public and I want everybody to understand what is taking place. One, Natalie, they had gazetted the chart in which they were going to operate. Now, on the 21st of July, around about, they had coordinates stating, they had published the coordinates where the rig will be passing. All right, Natalie? The coordinates in which they published was not the coordinates that they used. They went opposite to what was published by them.
Are we talking about where the rig is parked, or are we talking about where the surveys occurred?
No, where the damages of the fish pot or fishing pot and fats took place. So what they would have done, they would have sent out or print on the gazetted that, look, we are going to be passing east of Tobago. And instead of passing east of Tobago, they had passed west. And you understand? So you're gazetting that you're passing one way and then you pass the other way, right? And naturally, no, I'm saying the moving, if you want us to move our products, you need to have that dialogue. And if that conversation is not had, and we only say thing when it is gazetted, what you want us to do, remember, these areas in which they want to do the operation is our traditional fishing ground. It's like you come into your station to do your job and they're telling you, look, I'm passing through there today, so do not come there today. But here what? These are your traps, these are where the fish are. So what do you want us to do? And the dialogue where we have a round table discussion where we're supposed to sit down and work it out, that is not taking place, because I don't think Mr. Stone, which is the country manager, see it fit to have dialogue with the locals of Tobago. I don't know. I can't answer for him.
So you think there is a disregard and disrespect to the all Tobago fisher folk, and you know what they bring to the table, what their livelihoods and how they survive?
Ms. Ligol, it's a fishermen now, we are looking to get hampers. So after these destruction of these fisher pot, the fishermen pot, we are now looking to get hampers, because they are destroying not only our property and our fishing equipment, they are destroying our families. Under this time, we are under a lot of strain from COVID and the restriction by the government. And now, we are now under attack by BHP when we should have been working together.
What has been the response from BHP since your equipment was damaged?
BHP response was to send us an email of the liaison officers, and that's it. No one had decided to sit down and have that conversation.
What did the response say?
The response said, these are the liaison officers. BHP have never once admitted that they were the culprit and their action was lawless.
But you probably haven't liaised with the officers as yet.
The officers supposed to liaise with us. We have sent them also, naturally, the list of the names of the fisherfolk that were affected by it. We send the list of the names, we send them the boat numbers, we send them all the information that they need. We have done that. We are not only sending it to BHP, we have sent it to Fisheries Tobago, because we believe in working in partnership.
And since you did that, no response?
No response. What we are getting now.
So what's the next step then?
Well, perhaps on the next step, yesterday, I got 6 or 8 phone calls and that was only yesterday alone, that the liaison officers are asking them for the BIR number instead of they meet with ATFA and sit down and work out the logistics. Because ATFA is like the union for the fisherfolk. We are the legal representative. We took the TT to court and we were granted legal rights to make all decisions based on fisherfolks on the island of Tobago.
Okay. All right. Well, I will continue to check up with you with regards to this story, because I think that we're hoping that you get some sort of compensation and redress, at least a conversation at the very least, you know. So, Mr. Douglas, thank you so much for joining us this morning and for sharing.
Thank you for having me
with us this morning. And all the best going out to the fishermen in Tobago who are affected by this, for sure.